Hi, Scott Orland with Cinema Magazine. Now, we are kind of consumed by these big budget, giant blockbuster films, which are terrific in their own right, but every so often you're going to see this little gem of a movie, and I can't encourage you enough when you see this movie called Belle. It is terrific. And we have the star of the movie right here, Gugu Mbatha-Raw.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
First of all, this is based on a true story. How much did you know about Dido? I mean, that she really existed.
Yeah, I really knew very little about her, and it's strange because when I first heard about the story and the postcard from the producer, Damien Jones, I was so shocked because I'd spent some of my growing up years when I was at drama school living in Highgate, which is right by Hampstead Heath, where Dido lives in the film, and I'd walked on the Heath and I'd spent time there and I never knew about her. So for me, I was like, wow, this is so refreshing and surprising that she really existed in the 1780s, a biracial girl, and myself being biracial, I thought, wow, this is a story that has to be told.
But it's not only a romantic story, but there's a whole political element too that I think, I don't want to give too much away, as you watch the story unfold, it's fascinating about with her great uncle,
yes,
who's kind of making a very critical decision in the history of England.
Yes, exactly. Dido's sort of adoptive father is played by Tom Wilkinson in the film, the amazing Tom Wilkinson. He's playing the Lord Chief Justice of England, who at the time, next to the King, was the second most powerful man in the country. So he was overruling this case of the Zong case, which is an insurance case as to whether human beings could be insured as cargo. So all of this was going on alongside the time where Dido was growing up in his household. So for me, that was so fascinating because it grounded the story in the social and political context of the time. So as well as having this sweeping romantic love story, you've got, this reality of the slave trade and what that really meant. And I think it just puts it into context.
Now, a lot of actors always talk about when, the clothes make the man, so to speak, and there's this whole thing about femininity with wearing just the right clothes. But something about the 1770s, those clothes are a lot different than what designer clothes are today.
Absolutely. I mean, I was in a corset every day for sort of 10 hours, which was pretty intense. It takes a bit of getting used to, and you get sort of strapped in. It took, somebody to lace me into the corset, and then suddenly, your whole posture changes. Your back has to be straight, your breathing changes, and how you move through space, you take on an elegance, which I think, although uncomfortable for our sort of 21st century sort of bodies, really informed me, as an actress, and in terms of the character's physicality, and also how women must have felt at that time. I felt like I had a very visceral experience of what it felt like to be a woman at that time, and how constrained and restricted you were. So as much as they were a pain to begin with, actually that restraint really helped understand the social conditioning of the time, and the restraint also helps with the romance and everything as well, because you're much more restrained and delicate, and I think that that's something that we've somewhat lost in our modern 21st century ways.
Now, as feminine as that was and as womanly as you were, I understand that in another movie that's going to be seen, Jupiter Ascending, you're half deer, half woman.
Yes.
Now, I don't think in drama school they ever kind of teach you how to do that.
Well,
what can you say about that movie?
We did do an animal project at drama school, incidentally, where I played a bat, but that's a whole other story. Jupiter Ascending, for me, the whole experience of that was really fascinating, and it's very much a supporting role, but I took it on because I was thrilled at the opportunity of working with the Wachowskis. I've been so inspired by their work since The Matrix, and their vision and their creativity and their ambition of telling these epic stories. And it was a very different world to Belle. It was green screen, CGI, I had prosthetic ears. So for me, the whole hair and makeup experience was much more fantastical. But, it was great to do something completely different. And, when you have all of that world and that green screen experience, it forces you to engage your imagination in a much deeper way.
I said you're half deer, so I could fawn all over you, but I don't want to go there. That's a really bad analogy. And in Germany, they're going to go, what? I don't quite understand that. Gugu, I can't thank you enough for this. I totally was enthralled by Belle. Wonderful performance. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And this is Scott Orland. Until next time.